Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Don't try to adjust your picture. I've got this dark for a reason. I hope that the live stream transmission will still work in this low light. But it's kind of sending a message. As you can tell, I'm wearing black. I've done this on one other occasion where I've worn black and a black tie. But I've never darkened the studio like this. But I'm trying to send a message, and that is we're in very, very, very dark times. Good morning, everyone. My name is Roy Potter. This is the Potter Expositor. Today is the 26th of February, 2019. President Trump is meeting with the North Korean leader Kim Jong-un today in Hanoi, Vietnam. I'm not going to take you away from that for very long, but I do have some clips I want to show you because things really are dire. I was listening to American intelligence media last night, an interview that Douglas Gabriel did with Michael McKibben. Michael McKibben is the CEO and inventor, I think. He's certainly a brilliant man. He's over Leader Technologies, which really developed all of the encryption and all of the devices for the internet and all of that, especially the social media, which was stolen. Those things were stolen from him by the U.S. Patent Office, Hillary Clinton's henchmen, and the U.S. government. And that's been an ongoing situation for some time. But Michael McKibben's a very even-tempered, very articulate man, if you want to go listen to that interview. But basically what I wanted to tell you about it is this, what I've been saying for some time. I've heard Alex Jones say it. I've certainly said it. And now Michael McKibben's saying it. And it's interesting he said it on AIM because AIM didn't seem to think that this was all that big of a deal until Michael McKibben mentioned it. And that is that there is no one, absolutely no one in the government that's standing up for us. All of the other things that are going on, smoke and mirrors, activity, busyness, and they're not supporting the First, Second, and Fourth Amendments. And I'm not going to hammer on that a whole lot this morning, other than to say that this is serious. We're so concerned about what's happening in other parts of the world, and we're not taking care of our own citizens and I don't even like to use the word citizens, our own people, and guaranteeing them under the contract of the Constitution their rights that were given to them by God. Now, I know there are arguments, well, we don't have a constitutional government, and the Corporation of 1879, all of that is trumped, no pun intended, by Marbury versus Madison, which says that if any law is made contrary to the Constitution, it is null and void at its inception. But we're in dire straits, ladies and gentlemen, because no one is really standing up to the evil that confronts us today. Now, a lot of people will say, well, Christianity is about unity and Jesus talked about love and all that, but he also said, at least he's quoted as saying, that he came to divide asunder. He came with a sword to divide asunder, if you've ever read that. Now, it's not that he wants to cause division. It's that what he teaches, what he stands for, causes division because the evil will fight against it and try to destroy it. And that's what that means. And that's exactly what is happening. Our entire government is so evil at this point, so utterly disgusting and evil. I'm sorry, this is not going to be a nice broadcast this morning. I'm not going to make anybody feel good. I've got some things to show you where we are. Some of you have probably already seen these clips that I'm going to show you, but I think it's necessary. However, I don't care about how you feel about Venezuela or the Ukraine or anything like that. I'm throwing all that out the window right now, and I'm saying we have so many crazy problems in this country, especially with what the leftist Marxists and the CIA, the IC is doing to us, that we have no business trying to fix anybody else's problems before we fix ours, because we're going down the tubes right now. A lot's going to depend, as I've said, on what this Bill Barr does in the next 2 to 6 weeks, but I'm really not looking forward to I don't really see any big developments there. We are a wicked nation, and I don't care. I'm going to put this up there, and I don't really care what anybody thinks. One of the first things that Trump did that really disturbed me, I was going to put this on the screen, but I can't get it to go. Something's wrong with the program, so I can't load it. You see this? Do you see that? Do you see that? My Republican insider last night said, Roy, I can understand, there's a big difference between, supporting this movement that I just showed you and protecting them and their lives. Yeah, there is. But we're going to do it all over the world. We're going to push this shit. And yes, I'm calling it that. We are destroying mankind. I've talked to a lot of people about the historical significance of this and where that flag and what it means goes. And it ends up into some pretty horrible things. And I don't have the time or the history right now to give to you. Because people argue about it and argue about it and argue about it, and all you got to do is see what's happening. Little kids now being encouraged by government institutions, schools, to go out and pretend to be girls when they're boys or boys when they're girls, dance in front of older men who are homosexual gays, giving them money, encouraging this nonsense of transgenderism, confusing the children. Children have a hard enough time trying to figure out what they are without putting this nonsense in their head. And it's designed to destroy us and our posterity. And I'm ashamed that he showed that flag. Because I had a bad feeling about it when I saw it. Oh, it's just politics. It's just getting people. Yeah, right. Well, that's what destroys you. They're causing more and more problems. I'm going to play some clips right now. It's just about time. Again, I've got the studio dark because I'm sending a message. I'm wearing black. It's dark in here because we are in very dark times. The darkness of evil is taking over more and more every day. If you think not, you're blind, or you're swallowing hopium, or you're misled, because we are not looking very good right now. The title of this is, the hypocrisy of it's always for the children, right? They say, oh, we need gun control because we need to protect the children. Oh, we need this vaccination thing because we need to protect the children. Oh, we need to do this to protect. You notice how they always do that? Tyrants always do that. And then take the rights of taking care of those children away from the parents. They're tyrants, they're evil, they're demonic, they're devils. So I'm going to play something for you right now. This was on InfoWars yesterday. I want you to see this, okay? And you tell me we're not in trouble.
Let's make America great again. A bunch of child molesting.
That's right. Dirty ass crackers behind you with a red Make America Great hat again on.
A bunch of incest babies. That's right. A bunch of babies made out of incest.
That's right. Here come Gad. Here come Gad. Here come Gad.
Nick Sandman, that now famous Covington, Kentucky teen that stood his ground and remained calm in the face of leftist lunacy, has a legal team filing hundreds of lawsuits against the media mob and celebrities that denigrated his family, his school, his fellow classmates, and himself for merely being a supporter of the sitting president and being at the wrong place at the wrong time. The Washington Post faces a $250 million judgment, and more are to quickly follow for defamation on a scale that can only be attributed to mental illness or Trump derangement syndrome.
You would expect that the mainstream media would be responsible enough to pause, recognize they're dealing with a student, investigate, and make sure that they have the facts accurate, that the story that they tell is accurate. But they didn't pause when it came to Nicholas because they wanted to rush out and they wanted to jump into the mob, give the mob a megaphone so that they could attack this boy because he was white, he was Catholic, and he was wearing a Make America Great Again cap. If Nicholas had not purchased that souvenir cap that day at the mall, if he was not wearing it, none of us would know who Nicholas Sandmann is.
The millennial Twitter hordes, who recently targeted an Austin, Texas kid for selling hot chocolate to support President Trump's border wall.
I was against helping Donald Trump, and then I saw the State of the Union address and I wanted to help him.
He just said, Dad, I want to do a stand to help Trump raise money for the wall.
Some people were mad and calling me a little Hitler and stuff, and then some people were really happy.
We are obviously conservative, so we have certain news stations on, and he hears what we talk about at the dinner table.
Somehow it's gotten skewed to think that we're teaching our son to hate, and I don't understand where that comes from.
Well, I like all people.
I think it's important that they know what's going on in the world, where we stand, what we believe in.
After the local CBS affiliate posted the report to their Twitter feed, the mob piled on, posting a child being thrown off a cliff, another being thrown into a fire, and another posted a wrestler destroying a kid in his living room, a public celebration of child abuse. The moronic millennial horde called for the kid and his parents to be fined for not having a permit, which he didn't need. Also for his parents to be arrested. All of this on the local CBS affiliate's Twitter page. Twitter allows threats of violence of children from leftist mobs, regardless of their supposed rules. The sad truth? Millennials aren't really to blame. They've been indoctrinated by a scourge of Marxist anti-American re-education that has total control of the American school system from the bottom up. Suckered into trading their individual freedoms for temporary triggers, harboring pseudo-sycophantic ideals that only exist in the propaganda they have been spoon-fed. John Bowne reporting.
I don't think I need to comment on that any more than I did. Throwing kids off cliffs. Yeah, right. Throwing them in fires. I'm telling you, Moloch has taken over the minds of the people in this nation. Infanticide, and the government does nothing. Oh, they're going to pass a bill in Congress. Really? In the Senate? Really? I want to know why a frickin' SWAT team wasn't sent to these places and raided. They go after a 66-year-old man, Roger Stone, with a full SWAT team when there's no life being threatened, and yet they fail. A federal government fails to go save an infant. Now, I've heard all the arguments. Oh, well, they're born with these defects, and, they got to decide whether or not they're going to let them live or not. Once that child's out of the womb, it's over with. Actually, it should be over with long before that as far as the right to life. They've had 9 months to decide what to do with that child. They know about the deformities or whatever. I'm not even saying it's right to do it then, but I'm saying that argument's wrong. And that Dr. Rue or Lou or whatever the hell his name is a freaking demon too. Whatever happened to the Hippocratic Oath? Oh, it's to save the life of the mother. Well, I agree with saving the life of the mother, but how is that going to help when you're killing the child at the same time? She's gonna have problems with that. Saving the life of the mother, saving the children, saving the women. I'm beginning to think it's all demonic, and I didn't say that quite right about the situation with saving the woman's life. Well, they'll say leave it up to the doctors to make the decision. Yeah, like Dr. Mengele, Joseph Mengele, he was a doctor. That's what we're looking at here. Child's viable outside of the womb, and they say, oh, we're going to kill it. Oh, we got to do that because of this, and I forget the medical term, there are these different deformities and things. Well, they knew about that months before. No, there's something else going on there, and the people that have figured this out, that it's to get their body parts, their DNA, and their blood are right. That's what this is about, and it's gone way too far. Now, I want to thank Trump for going over there and doing this thing with North Korea and what he's trying to accomplish there. Kudos on him. But did you see what they were doing with those kids in that clip? I want to know why no one in the federal government is protecting our First, Second, and Fourth Amendments amongst all the others. Words, no actions. Quite the opposite. Actions infringing on those rights under we got to protect the children, or we got to do this, or we got to do that. No, it's tyranny. It's creeping, incremental tyranny. I've told you that we're entering into a really bad time here where there's a division going on. A lot of other people have talked about this as well. I'm not the only one. But this divide between good and evil is widening. The gulf is widening, and it is irreconcilable. It cannot be patched up. The days for negotiation and understanding and reaching across the aisle are gone. I'm not saying I want it that way. I'm saying it's manifestly so. Because in order to shake hands with those people now, you have to agree to infanticide. You have to agree with encroaching on the rights of the Constitution, that the Constitution guarantees us, our God-given rights. You have to agree with these wars and everything else that they want. Incremental tyranny. Marco Rubio disgusts me. Trump is not supporting us in our First, Second, and Fourth Amendments. I'm not the only one that's saying that, and I will damn be critical about it. Now, as I said, a lot of people have said that we're heading into this civil war and it's not going to be pretty. And it's because of the evil in our people and our refusal to stand up for what's right. And to just say, just give me another day of bread and beer. Give me peace in my time. Oh, yeah, sure. Well, I'm all for that, but they're going to kill you. And that's the end game. You don't believe me? Let's play something else here. This is from Media Matters. My channel will probably get taken down for putting this up. I think they've already removed it from their site. If you don't know who Media Matters is, that's David Brock and those guys, funded by Obama, funded by Hillary, funded by Soros, to basically lie to the American people. Well, what they did here is they put a whole bunch of conservative people together in different clips where they've talked about this civil war coming, and they make it sound like we want that. No, it's an inevitable result of people like David Brock doing what they do, and Obama, and Clapper, and Comey, and Planned Parenthood, Black Lives Matter, terrorist organizations, drug cartels. Do you realize all of those people have more rights than you do? Let's play this. Like I said, this is from Media Matters. I'm giving them credit for it. I'm glad they want to take the credit for it.
But first, is there a civil war brewing in the USA?
We are in a civil war in this country. There's two standards of justice, one for Democrats, one for Republicans. The press is all Democrat, all liberal, all progressive, all left. They hate Republicans. They hate Trump. So the suggestion that there's ever going to be civil discourse in this country for the foreseeable future is over. It's not going to be. It's going to be total war. And as I say to my friends, I do two things. I vote and I buy guns.
This country's headed towards a civil war in terms of two sides that are just hating each other. And if Robert Mueller wants, there's a big red button in the middle of the table.
I think we're in a clear-cut cultural civil war.
But I do know one thing for sure, that we do not want a civil war, and we just want a big government calm down here, and we'll work things out. But we're not in a negotiating mood.
And they need to start standing up for this lie that America is a fundamentally bigoted place, because we are toying with real civil war, I think, at this point.
Exactly, and we're funding it, and we should stop.
The first Muslim and first South Asian actually won an award for acting yesterday, and that's the diversity we need in this country.
I think looking at the world like that gets you to civil war, actually.
We are at a boiling point. There's going to be a civil war. If they keep this up, I'm telling you there's going to be an explosion in this country.
American people will be faced against American people before long if this is not straightened out.
He was recently asked by TMZ what happens if Trump is assassinated or overthrown. He said it would cause a civil war. They said, oh my God, Roger Stone's calling for a civil war. No, that's actually the Democrats and Antifa and George Soros.
In San Francisco, there's talk that the state of California should secede from the Union. Well, it sounds like the South before the Civil War.
I think we're headed for civil war.
With all due respect to you, your points are absolutely valid. There's hypocrisy all over the place. But pointing to it isn't going to help this cultural civil war.
If these crazy globalists that don't know when to give up actually are able to remove Trump, I'm going to walk through the scenarios for that coming up, because they mean business. They said he'll be gone by the end of December. Remember our intel from high-level congressional sources just a few months ago? This is it. And if they're able to do that, it will cause a massive civil war in this country.
Okay, did you get that? They're saying we are calling for that. No, no. We're not the ones attacking people's constitutional rights and trying to destroy the Constitution and the life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness of the people. We're not the ones out there calling for violence against infants and children. We're not the ones out there calling for wars. And we sure as hell aren't the ones that are out there trying to tell them to shut up. They're like the bully in the schoolyard that punches you when the teacher isn't looking, and then you go to defend yourself like these people are talking about, and all of a sudden you're the bad guy. You're the one that's in the principal's office getting expelled. They've played this game for too many years to not know it. And the tragedy is nobody, I mean nobody in our government, and I'm not making any exceptions here, nobody in our government is protecting us like they're supposed to in our First, Second, and Fourth Amendments at the very least. Fortunately, the Supreme Court said, oh, no, this civil asset forfeiture business, these fines and punishments that the states impose that are above and beyond or cruel and unusual punishment, they're putting a stop to that. Well, that'll be nice, okay? That's good. That's good. But there are a lot of other places where that's still happening. The December 21st executive order from Trump, when's that going to be enforced? Oh, he doesn't have anybody at the DOJ to do it. Well, that's what I'm saying. Barr's got 2 to 6 weeks, and if he doesn't do it, ladies and gentlemen, it's done. It's over with. It's done. Pray, stay out of the way, and pray that this nation falls in an utter catastrophe, because nothing else will fix it. The people are polluted to their core. They're pushing race division, as everybody knows. You saw it at the beginning of that first clip I played. Well, I'm going to play a portion of this one, okay? Watch this.
God said to prepare your bucks for slaughter today.
Does he deserve to die?
God said yes.
Can you tell me like what this is?
You got a question?
Yeah, can you just like explain, I guess, what you're doing or what your group represents?
Okay, according to the Bible, black people, Hispanic people, Native American Indians, we are the 12 lost tribes of the nation of Israel, according to biblical history, world history, and archaeology, so on and so forth, man.
So what does your group represent? What's your message? If you could give your message in one sentence, what would it be?
The message in one sentence is that we are the chosen people of God in Christ. Christ is a black man, according to the Bible. Christ is very, very upset with America because what America did to God's chosen people. And Christ gonna come back with the angels, what they call UFOs, really their vehicles are the angels, what they call UFOs. Christ gonna come back in the chariots to deliver the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel from this current captivity that we're in.
Okay, and what is your group called?
We are the Hebrew Israelites according to the Bible.
Is this the group that was at the Covington Catholic controversy telling the white kids there that their intestines should be strewn all over the ground? Is this the same group?
We are not the same group, but we all teach and use the Bible to back up what we're saying. So they use the Bible, we use the Bible. You see what I'm saying? So we scattered to the four corners of the earth teaching the word of God according to the Bible. You see what I'm saying? That's what we're teaching. So the truth is, give me a scripture. Go back to Isaiah 8 and 20.
So they were also black Hebrew Israelites. Were they not the same group?
Can I say this? It's not black Hebrew Israelite. We are Hebrew Israelites.
Okay, was that not the same group involved in that Covington case at the Washington, D.C. Memorial? Was that not the same group?
We're not the same group, but we know them. And we affiliate.
Will you disavow the things that they said to those white kids?
What things are you talking about? Disavow what?
They said that they were incest, they were cousin they're going to hell. They said that their intestines should be strewn across the floor. Can you disavow those statements?
Give me Isaiah 14:21.
Will you just disavow? Will you disavow that?
Okay, that's enough of that. You have white people go out there and do that, calling for genocide of other people, and see what happens. Just see what happens. By the way, those guys don't know their religious history, and they sure as hell don't understand the scriptures. But I'm not going to get into a religious discussion because everybody interprets these things differently, right? I bet you they don't even know what Hebrew is. It's the dangers of interpreting this thing we call the Bible for our own interests, because we use outside things to try to interpret it, and it interprets itself. But we've lost that ability because it's not taught to us. Because if they teach it to us, we won't listen to the preachers and the sermons they give in these stupid ass churches that are funded by the government. Yes, encouraged by the government, part of Infragard, all that. If you don't know about it, no wonder we're going down the tubes. A dark cloud of evil is engulfing us and permeating us, infusing itself in our very beings. And all we do is say, save us, save us, save us. Oh, but let me have that one more beer and watch that one more television show. Let me hear Lady Gaga sing one more time. Enjoying life is one thing, but we have become lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God, and it's destroying us. Oh, Roy, you shouldn't talk like that. Look at you. Hey, I'm not saying I'm not culpable in many areas. We all have to realize our weaknesses and our sins. The problem is that it's now been institutionalized. It's now been put into society as a whole. And we support evil in all places, times. There's a scripture and it says that these people that'll do these things will seek to change times and laws, and that they are doing. There is no one, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say it again, and I'm not going to name names. If you got to have me name names, you're just not aware, you're not awake. I go on YouTube here and I see it adjust for the light quite a bit, so it's not as dark as it looks to me on my OBS. I probably ought to shut the window a little bit more. As a matter of fact, I think I will. If you haven't figured it out this morning, I'm not going to take chat. I'm too upset. I'm too angry. I won't worry about the light. The rhetoric is not matching action on the ground. People are losing every day their First, Second, and Fourth Amendment rights by a government that sits around with its thumb up its ass and giggles and can turn and rend us time and time and time again. The Bundys are a good example. The DOJ under Whitaker, now Barr, going after the Bundys again and trying to get the judge's dismissal, which I've talked about before, turned around by the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. How disgusting and despicable. The government never does anything wrong. We've seen them do nothing but the wrong for the last 2 years. Me, and a lot of other people, we've seen it for decades. But it's on display now, and they're still up there saying, no, we're going to smash these little people. We're going to let Hillary off. We're going to let Epstein off. I know They're talking about Epstein now that thing was illegal. And guess who was behind that? Trump's Labor Secretary Acosta. Prep, pray, and stay out of the way, ladies and gentlemen. There is no one out there who is going to help you. No one. Close family, friends. This is going to divide the country up, not even along the Mason-Dixon line, or not even by state lines. It's going to divide it. It's going to be balkanization. I saw Jack Posobiec said that yesterday. He said either we get back to unity or it's going to be balkanization. And he's absolutely correct. And I'm going to say this right now. Unity's over with. It's not going to happen because the left Marxists will not stop trying to destroy everything that's good and lovely and guarantees life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and that perfect law of liberty. They are totally against it, and they throw out all these other false rights that never existed in the first place. The right to kill your child. They say there's nothing in the Bible that says that a woman can't do that. Well, not plainly written. It talks about mischief. If there's evidence of mischief. And it's actually talking about the men who do it. I don't think any woman actually would. Well, I'm not gonna go there. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm done for today. I just wanted to come out, give kudos to President Trump for his efforts in North Korea, and then ask him what the hell are we doing in Syria, in Afghanistan, in Venezuela. Now, the socialists in Venezuela, I don't believe anything I see on TV. Maduro apparently admitted that he's the one that trashed and burned those relief trucks. Oh, maybe. I don't believe anything anymore. Because we're not even fixed in this country to be going and trying to fix anybody else. Oh, it's national security. If we don't have our perfect law of liberty, our right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, what else is our national security? No, it's the security of the cabal that they're talking about. It's the security of their institutions is what they're talking about. It's the security of them to commit evil and crime anywhere and anytime they please. That's what the national security means. I don't care if Trump is tied up and can't move. There are people who say, well, he can't even speak out because they'll drug him, they'll take him off on if he starts to open his mouth at a public forum, they'll grab him and say that, there's an assassination plot. I would not doubt, if he's not going along with all this crap, I would not doubt that every time he's in the public, he's told that he's got a sniper rifle on his head. The crosshairs on his head. I wouldn't doubt it at all. But there is a way to fight back. And we've told him about how to do it, and nothing happens. Barr better get busy, and if he doesn't, you'll know who the real enemies are. Trump has aces up his sleeve. I know that if he tries to put this stuff out, these, the declassifications, they'll say, oh, he's insane. Oh, this is terrible. Oh, this and that. You know what? The people are the government, not the governmental institutions. We've let this thing get way out of hand. They answer to nobody, and that's wrong. We thought we had a champion. He called himself a champion. I'll be your champion. No defense of the First, Second, and Fourth Amendments, and quite the contrary, more infringements upon them. Ladies and gentlemen, you got to realize our awful situation, and it's not going to get any better. There are going to be pockets of good and massive, massive areas of evil. Look at California. Look at the East Coast. Entire masses of areas. And the people charged, the institutions charged with protecting your rights look the other way and do nothing. New York passes more red flag laws, and this is Trump's fault. He gave the go-ahead signal for it. And it's going to be misused. Guaranteed, 100%. There's no weapon that you give a government that they don't use for evil, period. If you haven't learned that in your life, you got a long way to go. I'm not going to say God bless anything today. I'm not going there. It's a dark, dark time. And the clips I've shown you today are just the tip of the iceberg. Hope you have a great day, ladies and gentlemen. I realize there's not a whole lot we can do. Not really. Because nobody has the guts in a competent authority position to do anything about any of this. So we're just going to go, and we're going to go down the tubes, and we're going to get destroyed. So band together with like-minded people, get your food, water, and ammunition, exercise your Second Amendment, and hope and pray that you can stave off the hordes that are coming. In these days there will be few men left, real men. As I told you, back in the 1800s there were things written about how this would end. All of this is deliberate. This was all predicted and planned out back in the early to mid 1800s, if not sooner, but certainly by that time. And it's following the plan really well. I'm sorry I'm not taking any comments today. You guys are probably talking with each other, and that's fine. If my moderators are here, thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Kay Smalls, Liza Jean Williams, and Roosevelt. I did warn you I was going to be on today, so I would not imagine you're here. But there are a lot of things I'd like to say, but you know what? Has it really done any good? Scripture says that the beast made war with the saints and prevailed. And that he would continue on and on and on and wear out the saints of the Most High. Even God doesn't step in to help. According to that. Oh, the rapture's coming. The rapture's coming. Yeah, well, that's another thing we could talk about, and I've discussed it before. Somehow, I don't think it's going to be the way you think. Bye, ladies and gentlemen. See you next time.